What's up, guys? My name's Luke. I'm the lead guitarist from Thrillkill, which is my Capstone project. We're releasing a 5-track EP, and that should be out sometime in March.
Awesome. Okay, so my first question for you is, when did you know that you were passionate about music?
So that's a good question. When I was a lot younger, when I was like 10 years old, I was in a really bad car accident
Oh,
and resulted in me breaking my back, and I actually had some like internal bleeding, and it was a whole mess.
oh
It
my
was a
God.
long time ago, so like I'm fine now. But at a young age, I always kind of like music kind of always just resonated with me in like a very therapeutic way
Hmm.
ever since that experience. And it wasn't until I was like 15 where I was like, oh, music makes me feel good. I wonder how like playing music is going to make me feel. And once I started playing, like there was no stopping me. There
So
was
when did you start playing guitar? Like when did you start learning?
I started learning I got the instrument when I want to say 14.
Mm,
I didn't get serious until I was like 15, 16.
okay. Okay. Cool. I mean, yeah, like that's crazy. That's a crazy story to like start off with. Holy crap. So when did you, what was your first, is this your first project, like serious project, or have you done stuff before?
So this is my first release,
Okay, sweet.
and I am kind of known as like among my friends and like people at school. I'm kind of known as that guy on Instagram that's always playing guitar.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to do something. I wanted to make something that was like more like long lasting art and meaningful,
Mm,
as opposed to these 60-second song covers.
yeah.
That get like 30 likes and then people forget about them. So I kind of had to take a break from that and focus more on the whole recording process recently.
Right. Is there like a theme to your album or your EP, or is it just kind of
Yes, so it's kind of based loosely on like past trauma of mine,
okay?
but it's a concept album
Oh,
slash
cool.
EP, which is something kind of unique because I've never heard of a concept EP
Yeah.
before, and I'm sure someone's done it, but we were writing this. We had written all the songs, and I was trying to figure out song layout. And I was like, oh, if we structure it like this, this will be a really good flow to it. And then I was talking to Alex, who plays drums and bass on all the tracks.
Okay.
Alex Bierman, phenomenal musician. Could not have done this without that kid. And I started showing him that, and we started talking about how there could be this underlying storyline to
Hmm.
the EP. And I don't want to give too much away, but it's pretty cool. I'm very excited to see how people react to it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm excited to hear it. So, we're both in the music industry program at Rowan University. Do you see yourself being strictly like an artist, or do you want to do something else in the business? Where do you see yourself, like, I guess, in the next 5 to 10 years? I know it's kind of like a loaded question, but
That's a good question.
I feel
I
like
don't
no one knows exactly like what
honestly. All
they're
right,
imagining.
I would like to be touring and playing live shows consistently. That's always been the main goal, a dream of mine. But as far as like other professional like endeavors go, I would love to one day teach at Berkeley.
Oh, awesome.
I've done some summer semester stuff there, and I love the community. I love Boston. It's a great place. So that's like something when I'm like kind of calming down from the whole young musician thing. And
Yeah.
then I'd like to the whole recording from home with COVID. We couldn't go into the studio to really do anything. So
Yeah.
all of this had to be done remotely from home. And doing that kind of exposed me to like professionally mixing and mastering myself. And I really actually found it quite enjoyable. So I'd like to maybe get into that if
Cool.
music doesn't take me where I want it to. Like
Yeah. I mean, that was like kind of my next question. Like, how has COVID impacted you and how has it impacted your music
oh,
and, all
sucks.
that stuff?
It's the
So,
worst.
yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
annoying. Everyone knows. I did not think that my first like project release was going to be done in this way. I imagined myself in some type of studio with
Right.
some type of like sound engineer, guiding us through what to do. That was not the case. We did this all on our own, which it was a struggle, but I'm also kind of proud of it. And I remember the first day that we got together to record. drums. It took us like almost 3 hours to
Oh my
set
God.
up just the interface, the
Oh,
microphones, getting everything to work correctly. And that day was really a very painful day because thing it wasn't working. It was our first day. We were like, oh, this sucks. Like
yeah,
it's gonna take this long just to set up. It
right.
was a good learning experience. Like after that, we figured out how everything works. And then every like recording day after that, it took us 10 minutes to get set up.
Okay. Like, so do you think when COVID is over, and we can all be together again, do you think anything's gonna stick from COVID days? Like, I don't know. I'm interested to hear from an artist perspective because, like you said, it took so long to set up all that stuff. Like, will anything like remote or anything like that stick even after COVID's
I
over?
Yes and no. I think working on a day-to-day remote is going to be ideal for most people
Mm,
because you don't have to drive, however far the studio is or work around other people's schedule. If you could send me a project session in Logic, I can
right.
work from that remotely from home. And then when, let's say we're meeting Friday, when Friday rolls around, I can bring in what I've done from my home studio and
Mhm.
vice versa with everyone else in the band. So I think stuff like that is going to stick. And I think it's only made us better and more capable to handle the challenges that life is going to throw at us.
Right.
But I don't think that the whole remote working is ever going to replace the experience of recording in a studio with professionals. I think that's something there's always going to be a demand for that.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think, some people say like, oh, well, with COVID now, people are going to be doing things more at home. And I think that's true, maybe in like the work sense, but I feel like when this is over, live shows it's going to be insane.
Oh,
People
it's
are
going to
going to,
blow up. People are
yeah, people
itching
are going to want to go
to
out.
see
And
this.
I know I want to go out like so bad,
What
and
I'm curious to see is how the whole mask thing,
yeah.
is gonna affect people, or if people are gonna stick to it. Because I'm a diabetic, so like when I get sick, I
Mm,
get really sick. So I try to take really good care of myself
yeah.
and do the best that I can to avoid exposing myself to people that are contagious.
Yeah.
So I think going even after there's like the whole COVID is we're done with it, there's a vaccine. I think when I'm in like a crowded place, like let's say a basement show,
Mm.
I'll probably be wearing a mask.
Really?
I think so because I haven't gotten sick once this whole 10 months.
It's totally, yeah. It's true. Like, by wearing a mask, I haven't been sick at all. Like, even with a cold in 9 months. And that's
Yeah,
crazy for me. Cause like, I'm
no,
not
same.
diabetic, but my immune system's not that great. Like, I get sick pretty easily. So I'm like, wow, this is like the best I've
Yeah,
felt like
it's
in a while, So, oh my God. But, now that you say that, it's going to be really interesting when we do go back to crowded spaces and shows because I'm thinking back on it. Like in February, I was at a show in the Fillmore, sweaty, spitting, like all
in a
over
crowd of
everybody.
white people. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's just like, wow, it's going to be I know that I am going to feel weird. That's for
it's
sure.
definitely gonna take a good couple basement shows to feel like
Yeah.
comfortable in these packed mosh pits. Where I think the first show that I go back to, I'm gonna be like, this is not fun.
Mm,
I need my space. I need to get
yeah.
out. But I think eventually we will get back to like some type of normal where we can be in these tight groups of people and
Yeah.
still enjoy ourselves and not be worried that we're gonna get sick.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that about the mask though too, because I was kind of thinking about that too. Like maybe you're right. Maybe I should start wearing a mask if I'm in like these crowded, really crowded places. Cause
And
like
also there's an aesthetic to it. You look
there is
mysterious,
an
you
aesthetic.
know?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, but yeah, so it's always interesting to hear like how because I'm not an artist, but I have performed and I do sing and whatever, but so I know how important, performances are and I know how it makes people feel and it's just sad to see, you know, it not happening in person. So what is your opinion on like Zoom shows and live streams
All
like
right, I'm gonna be honest with you. I hate them. I think they're the bane of my existence. And unfortunately, I have to partake in them because
Right.
one, I'm a student at Rowan in a music
Right.
industry program.
Right.
So a lot of our grades are based on these virtual performance. And I think Rowan puts on some good shows.
Yeah.
With my opinion, regardless of my opinion on these virtual shows, the school does a good job with them.
Right.
But it's just not. It's not the same energy. It's not the same atmosphere. It's totally this different entity to a
Yeah.
live show. You go to a live show, it's like an event and it's something to do, even if you're not musically inclined.
Yeah.
If your friend is playing, you're gonna go see them.
Right.
Whereas if it's a live stream show, you could always catch it later. There's gonna
Yeah.
be a recording posted later, and it's just not the same. You can't, as an artist that performs, you used to perform quite frequently.
Yeah.
I kind of feed off of the audience
Yeah.
and their response to the music. Where when I'm playing for like my phone, it feels like kind of dead,
Yeah.
like just a little depressing.
Yeah. I totally get that because I'm also kind of the same way. I feed off people's energy like when I'm with them, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um Even just like talking over Zoom, I've gotten used to it, but it's like I really do miss seeing people, in person and
Yeah,
vibing off of other people. So as an artist, I can only imagine, especially you, because you're like a rocker. So I can totally imagine what it must be like to just do this stuff, like to your phone.
it's
It's
weird because yeah, like you said, I'm a rocker, and I have a certain energy on stage
right,
that does not translate well at all to me playing in my basement, you
right.
know? And there's certain things I do even when like if I'm not filming, I'm feeling the music, I'll, shake my body in a certain way and I do it on I come out looking like an asshole because I'm just some kid in his basement alone rocking out. And like I'm having fun, I'm having the time of my life, but well, not the time of my life, but
Right.
it looks weird, it looks off. Whereas if I was doing it live, you wouldn't, think differently of it. It would be like, oh, he's just performing. That's just what he does.
What do you think is like the biggest, I don't want to say mistake, but maybe things that other college musicians can work on that maybe you're good at?
What college musicians could work on, I
Yeah.
guess, putting your art, your music on like a pedestal
Mm,
and not like holding it in such high regard that you don't even want to touch it or share it with other people.
mm,
It's just music. It's just sounds and notes. You have to be open to criticism and you have to be open to letting other people contribute to that.
mm.
Especially if you're in like a band setting.
Yeah.
For example, like I've written all these songs with Thrill Kill. A lot of them I brought as finished songs.
Right.
When I was younger, I wasn't sharing things that I wrote with other musicians just for fun because I
Mm,
was worried that it would be changed and tampered with,
mm.
and it would end up as something that I really wasn't comfortable releasing.
Right.
And I was worried that other musicians would find an attachment to it and push for it to get released. But
Yeah.
you can't I'm not Beethoven or Mozart. Like I'm nobody. I'm just a college student.
Right.
And the only way for me to really make it in this industry is to just put my work out there.
Yeah.
And obviously you want to put out quality work. But I guess the to sum up that the main point of what I'm saying is be open to like collaborating and working with other artists.
So do you have any more advice about like, because you've said you've written a lot of songs and you've finished up a lot of songs. What advice do you have for songwriters? Because I know I have tried to write songs and I suck at it. Like I just feel like I'm so bad at it. And it's just, I would love to hear some advice from you.
So me personally, when I'm writing a song, I'll find a guitar riff because I'm a guitarist. That's
Right.
what I do. First and foremost, guitar is my thing, and I'll work out a guitar riff, and if it's something that I really enjoy the sound of, I'll kind of record it on my computer or my phone, and I'll listen to it back, and I'll try to like tap into like whatever it reminds me of. If I'm going through, it helps if you're depressed. Not to get depressing, but if you're depressed, like that's gold for artists.
Mm.
Tap into these like depressing thoughts you have or whatever your turmoil that you have inside you. That is what you should be writing about.
See, yeah, I've heard that from a lot of people. That's just kind of like a thing, a general thing that I've heard. Like, you know, a lot of people will say, like, oh, when an artist is sad or when an artist is going through something, that's their best work. Like it's always their best stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like that, I think you're right about that, because when in times where I have, you know, been in like, I don't know, I've been in like a funk or I've been in a mood, I have written better stuff. When you're happy, it's like, I don't know. It's
You have no, when you're happy, you have no motivation to create. It's like you're content. Why do I need to do this?
right.
When you're upset and depressed, it's like, I have something to say.
Mm.
Here, listen to this. This is what my emotions are telling me to do right now.
Mm. So when you get writer's block, how do you get out of that?
When I get writer's block, very, very simple. I listen to some Led Zeppelin.
Oh my God, really?
Jimmy Page has written every guitar riff and lick ever. And I don't know if you've ever seen him play live. They've got this album called The Song Remains the Same.
Okay.
And it's like a 2-hour long concert. But like some of the songs are like 30-minute long. And like there'll be like a 15-minute guitar solo.
Oh my
So
God.
I'll go and listen to that, and he'll play like a lick once, and I'll catch that lick, and I'll be like, oh, that sounds, really cool as a lead line. Let me try and make it a chord progression, and I'll slow it down and add some variation to it. That's one way that I go about trying to get rid of writer's block. Another way, classical music.
Oh, really?
Listen, classical music. I mean, I don't know a lot of classical music by like name or piece, or
Right.
even by artist, but like I'll just go on like Apple Music and pull up like a classical radio station, and I'll just chill with the classical music, and all of that stuff is like some of the best music. So to draw inspiration from that, I think is a really good way to write good music.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting that you say that about classical music, because I feel like, especially for like a guitarist like you, classical music is the way to go, because there's so many, like, in a way, when I hear like guitar solos or something, to me, sometimes it sounds like how classical music sounds, you know?
You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah. And like that's kind of like how I hear it. So for you to say that, I'm like, okay, that actually makes sense, you know? So yeah, that's cool. What's the best experience you've had? Like while on stage or while performing?
Um, the best experience I've had performing, I was last summer in Schenectady, New York,
Okay.
and I had just finished my semester at Berkeley. The day that I had finished all my exams and final performances, I was back on the road with this artist called JJ Savage,
Okay.
and we played this shithole bar, and it was tiny, like a bunch of like hardcore, big, like heavy metal guys were there, and also at the time my girlfriend came, and some of my very close friends from Rowan came, and
Okay.
it was like a 4-hour drive, and I hadn't seen them all summer because I was at Berkeley,
Right.
and it was just so nice to perform music that I enjoyed performing, be in this, although it was a shithole, it was a cool shithole, to be in this cool venue and have all my friends there. Like it was just it was a really nice night, and also my family showed up. Like it was just
Oh, that's so nice.
it was a really good memory.
Oh, that's nice. I guess my next question for you is that I've been kind of asking some industry people about this, but I'm curious to see what an artist says. How do you feel about big record labels, and how do you feel about indie labels? And do you think a big label, like, do you think someone needs a big label in this day and age?
Um, I don't have a lot of experience interacting with record labels.
Right.
I'm an independent musician, so
Right.
I feel like it's been a struggle getting to where I am in my career.
Mm,
And if someone was there to like kind of, if a team was guiding me in the directions that I should be going in, then
right.
I think that could be helpful. But I do know people that have shady management,
Mm,
and I think you just got to be careful with who you trust. Even if like you're not, part of a record label, and you're
right.
just trusting someone to manage you, you got to make sure that that person has your interests at heart, and not just they're not just trying to make a quick buck.
Right. So how do you feel? I mean, I don't know. So you don't have a manager, or you are your own manager?
I I'm not gigging, so I don't have a manager.
Right.
I would like the Real Kill to get some type of management in the near
Okay.
future, but I guess you could say right now I'm kind of managing all of that.
Okay, got it. So I guess my question is like, how do you feel about having like for people or for bands who have like their managers like their friend? Do you think it should strictly be a professional thing, or do you think it's okay to kind of like intermingle with your family and your friends for that kind of
Yeah,
stuff?
I wouldn't hire a friend to
Mm.
be a manager. And based on like personal experience, I remember when I was in high school, I had my friend manage my band.
Mm.
It was just something fun. Like I wasn't paying him.
Right.
We're just good friends, and he wanted to be a part of the project. So I was like, "Yeah, you can manage the band." And he was supposed to be at every rehearsal that we had to update us on um, finding like venues for us to play
Right.
and seeking out record labels for us to maybe sign with, and also looking into finding a studio time. And he just wasn't delivering on that.
Yeah.
And I'm not mad at him because I wasn't paying him anything, but he was like, "Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it, for free. You'll be really satisfied with it." And he just didn't deliver, and it put me in like an awkward situation where I wanted to let him go and find someone more professional, even if I had to pay them, you know.
Right.
So I wouldn't mix friends and family into business. And I've seen other friends of mine that are artists have hired family friends as their manager, and I could see that they were kind of being like taken advantage of.
Yeah. Yeah, see, I think I kind of agree with you and I kind of share that same opinion because I know how it is to work with people that I know and that I love as friends, but they just don't sometimes professionally, you just can't, work with people like that. And like you said, it's hard because when it does get like to the point like, okay, I want to get rid of this person, but like they're my friend.
That's
So
yeah,
it sucks. It's such an awkward situation. And it's like, I agree with you that it should be professional. And I think maybe like when you professionally become someone's manager or someone, you have a manager professionally, I think maybe the relationship can turn into a friendship, but I feel like vice versa might not work out most of the
yeah,
time.
it has to start in a professional
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's difficult working with people that you care about or are friends with.
Oh, last question. What advice do you have for college musicians, college artists?
Um, Advice for college artists: collaborate, work with the people that you know in school, people that you don't know, seek them out, and just throw yourself into the music scene, even if it is virtual concerts, even if that's the only music scene you have available. I hate virtual concerts, but I know I got to be a part of them right now because if I'm not, danger of being left behind and being forgotten.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks, Luke. It was nice
Yeah,
talking to you.
it was. This is a good interview.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, it's so funny.